Thank you for joining today's Google Workspace webinar on document approvals. My name is Sarah and I'm a change management consultant. I'll be guiding us through our demo today where we are going to show you a new feature Google has put into place to help you streamline getting document approvals. So whether you need to get an approval on a slide, a sheet, or a document, and maybe you need one or many players to approve what you're working on, you can have a nice trackable workflow to help you with that. We're going to walk through some highlights in just a moment, but I do want to note that you may see a week or two lag time before you see full feature availability. And then we do have IT admins with the ability to decide who in an organization would get this particular feature. So if you watch the demo and you believe it would be useful for you, but you're not seeing it in the next week or two, I encourage you to reach out to those local partners and see what they can do to give you some suggestions. So, with that in place, let's walk through some of the essentials of getting rolling with document approvals. Let's say I am needing to get someone in marketing's approval for some changes I've made to my slide template. Clicking on the File menu in Docs, Sheets, or Slides will now show a new feature called Approvals, where I can bring in one or many people to gain access to the file and to give an approval or rejection. Another way we can kick off this process is by going into a resource within Drive and right-clicking on it. You'll now see in that right-click menu a section called Approvals. Your workflow will be very similar once you get that initial flow started. So let's simulate approvals first, and then we'll talk about some other processes relating to this. So first step, let's say I need just one approver. That's pretty simple. I can add more if I need to, but in this case, we just need Lizzie. I'm going to go in and add potentially any additional hints or data she might need that wasn't part of earlier conversations. So she knows exactly what this approval is all about as needed. So maybe I want to point out, that it's slide 3 that had the major changes since we had last talked about things being ready to roll. I can put in a due date if that's appropriate for our relationship and this particular workflow. We'll show you what that looks like. So let's say I want to give her a little bit of wiggle room before she needs to take care of this. And I can also even set a targeted time of that particular day where we would need that workflow to be included. I also have some additional options in terms of allowing approvers to be able to edit the file. I think that can be a really nice choice in case there's something small she notices rather than it rejecting it. She could simply go in and make that edit. And as needed, I can choose to lock this file from further editing as I move this forward. So let's simulate that for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and send this request over to Lizzie. It's going to affirm for me that she would need access to the file. She wasn't part of it before. That's okay. It's just an extra layer of safety. And now it's giving me this affirmation that my file has been locked because there may be other collaborators with me. While I'm the one requesting the approval, I don't want those other collaborators going in and making any other changes at this moment. So now you may be wondering, okay, we got the process started, right? What happens next? Well, this is where it's in Lizzie's hands to go in and take care of her approval. And the reason why she's going to know an approval is coming her way is because she has done her due diligence in Drive and she has gone into her settings and made sure that she's got some level of Drive notifications established. That's really the easiest way for us to take care of and automate this process. So that way you don't have to chat her note about the fact that an approval is waiting for her. You don't have to email her. Instead, the approval we just went through would automatically notify her based on her chosen setting. So I like email, I like Google Chat for an alert standpoint. I think that works really well. And let me show you what that would look like. So when you have content that has been asked by someone else for you to approve, you're going to get that chat alert, or you would be able to see it via email. It's going to say approval request, and then it'll give you the file name, and then it will give you a nice quick link to get on and into that file so that you can see what's going on. So I can see here the file here has been locked that I've been asked to approve. It says it's pending my approval, and I can approve, reject it, or go in and look at any other details. So if she had added some context to her note to me, for example, and she did, and she also gave a due date, that gives me a little bit more leeway to make some decisions because maybe I need a little processing time or I need to talk to some other people before I give this my stamp of approval. In this case, we're going to say everything looks great. I would go in, approve her request, put in an optional message as needed. Great spot for us to give people some words of affirmation or approved. Now we'll move it on to the next stage, that kind of thing. In this case, we'll just keep it simple and I will approve that for her. We'll see some changes in terms of the language at the top of our file now so that all users who are accessing this file now see we have the latest approved version. And if you were an editor of the file, you could unlock it so that we can begin making edits, comments, and suggestions. So at this point, everything looks great. We're now ready to move forward to the next phase, continue our editing. We're moving in the right direction. We've gotten that affirmation, right? So I could choose to go in and unlock. And now it's going to look just like your file looks previously, just with some extra notes up top relating to that approval process. Pretty cool, right? So now let's talk about getting an approval from someone else, right? So I had something waiting on my buddy Lizzie. What happens when I'm waiting for her to say that that slide deck looks good that I was proposing earlier? Um, I can be alerted in the same way by making sure that I have my alerts established. I will get email notification, chat, or pop ups based on what I've selected. So if I head on into my inbox, for example, oh, there she's taking care of some business. Now she's telling me whether I have my approval or my rejection. And I can see now that I have an approval complete relating to that resource. Certainly, I could go in to the file itself. It was locked, but I could go in and reload that file to be able to see it in more detail. And I could now see that we have an approval that has come through. I could click in to view the details and see that that was taken care of by Lizzie just now, right? If we needed another layer of approvals, now that I've completed getting Lizzie's smiling face relating to this resource, I can go on in and do so. So perhaps I moved it by one leader. Now I'm going to move it on to a member of a different team or department to get their take and insight on another section. I can now complete those similar steps with those other necessary parties. As you are perhaps very popular in needing to approve many things, if you happen to be a team leader or some sort of strategy lead, for some of you who work in marketing, for example, and a lot of people double check things with you and want to use this process, you may also appreciate a new option that's going to appear in Drive in the advanced search drop-down menu. You now can search for approvals that are waiting for you or content that's requested by you as well, and you're waiting on other people. So that if you're using a lot of these workflows, you'll be able to see those items in search results. And then I can click into these. So I know that this one, for example, was waiting for me. So I could go on in and take a look, see if they've made the suggested edits and changes. If I feel like it's in good shape, we can get those items approved and so forth. I can go back to my search, take a look and see what's going on with this particular file. And again, edit as needed, get the approvals happening as needed, follow up with any necessary parties that may be slowing things down. So in this case, this one's approving Lizzie's um, blessing on this particular file so I could reach out to her if I need to. Um, and move things forward. There's a three-dot menu. If you do need to adjust or make a change, since I was the person making the initial request, I could change approver if we need to. So, for example, if she fell ill and wasn't going to be in the office for the next couple of weeks, and that was unexpected, this is a backstop where we can still keep good work flowing and not feel like we're hung up waiting for that particular person. This is some pretty exciting stuff, and I hope that you're going to find that it's going to be a really nice time saver for you all going forward. Do reach out to your localized IT partners if you do have some additional questions or comments, or even try a Google search around document approvals with Google Workspace, and that'll yield you some great results too for some additional support information as needed. Feel free to reach out to my team as well if you need a boost or a nudge on this particular feature update. You can reach out to me at collaborationtraining@pythian.com. Have a great rest of your day.